Hey everyone, it's Micah. This week we are doing a iSideWith political quiz recap. I took all these questions because I'm out of town this week, and so I wouldn't be able to make live content. So I figured let's answer some questions on policy and positions, and maybe see if we can get some controversy or some interesting moments out of this. So this first episode is on the environment and environmental issues. And yeah, I stand by all of my opinions, and I'm willing to argue with anybody about anything at any time. So if you are interested, or if you have more information on a question that I was maybe a little bit unfamiliar with, feel free to email me, truenorthminute@gmail.com. We can either have a stream where you can come on and we can chat, or we can just have fun and talk about stuff. So I want to open up a discussion here on all these topics. And while I am having fun with this, I do try to come up with serious answers. I am a little bit stoned towards the latter part of the recording. So, yeah, it should be a little bit fun, should be a little bit comedic. I probably say some pretty dumb things. This video series isn't really edited out. It's just I'm taking down the clips from what I recorded, and you're getting it. So it should be fun, and yeah. All right. Enjoy the video, y'all. All right, so the first question under environmental issues: should cities be allowed to offer private companies economic incentives to relocate? Generally, I say no to this, but I think it is one of those things that you can provide services to your population that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. Then I think it's a good idea. But for the most part, I'm generally against giving incentives for relocations for private companies. I'm generally against this. But in certain circumstances, it's all right. Let's see. Okay. Yes, as long as the local environment is not compromised. That seems like a pretty good answer. Yes, as long as the tax revenue will eventually exceed the tax incentives. That's also a good answer. Yeah, the tax revenue has to exceed the tax incentives. Otherwise, there's no point to do that. Local jobs, sure. No, spread that money on improving infrastructure to attract companies. The government should never subsidize private businesses. No, but punish them for moving jobs out of the country. Yes, but I would prefer lowering corporate taxes. Okay, so I think my answer on this one is probably yes, as long as the tax revenue will eventually exceed the tax incentives. But this isn't super important. Should the government increase environmental regulations on businesses to reduce carbon emissions? Well, yes, but let's see what the other stances are. Yes, and provide more incentives for alternative energy production. No, just to enforce existing regulations. No, and I believe global warming is a natural occurrence. No, and the current government is over-regulating businesses. No, provide more incentives for alternative. Okay, so my answer here is yes. I like it's yes and on this one. Yes, and provide more incentives for alternative energy. We spent $18 billion, and on average we spend about $5 billion a year, $4.5 to $5 billion a year on fossil fuel subsidies. We should take that away from the fossil fuel industry, put that entire amount towards renewables and alternative energies, including hydrogen, including nuclear. Yeah, that's where I would sit on that, and I would say this is pretty important. Should disposable products such as plastic cups, plates, and cutlery that contain less than 50% of biodegradable material be banned? My gut says yes, but I also know that this isn't that big of an issue. Like, this is more of an issue than it's made to be more of an issue than it actually is. And so, yes, I support this, but I don't think it has that big of an impact. Yes, and ban all disposable products are not made of at least 75%. No, increase consumer incentives. No, increased tax incentives. I say yes. I'm just gonna say yes on this one. I don't think but it's really not that. This isn't gonna have that big of an impact. This has significantly more of an impact than this does. So, there's 3 more questions. Okay, should the federal government subsidize the production and consumption of renewable energy sources? Yes. Should local governments follow environmental guidelines set by the United Nations? Yes, but let's see if there's any other stances here. Oh, okay. Yes, and exceed the guidelines and be the world leader in environmental standards. No, and the UN should be abolished. No, and come up with local solutions that work for each community. No, and increase sanctions on countries that are the top contributors of global pollution instead. So, I like this answer. However, Canada's not powerful enough to do that. So, I would say yes and exceed the guidelines so that we can be a world leader in environmental standards. We want other countries to buy shit from us. And so that's really all there is to it. Yes, we should follow the guidelines. The actual guidelines set by the UN is less important than the agreements and treaties that we've signed, such as Paris, and so on and so forth. Should Canada allow the logging of old-growth forests? No. 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 Preservations of our forests outweighs the economic benefits. I actually don't know if that's actually really true. I just think that this is a bad idea. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like or a comment. And if you really enjoyed my content, make sure to check out my socials listed on the end card. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a fantastic day, eh?